You recording?
Right, so yes, mate, we're finally recording after that debacle. This week we're going to rank the 25 most expensive signings of all time, based on how successful we think they've been. This is the 25 most expensive according to Transfermarkt, so we'll just jump into it as Will's got a tea time. Number 25, Kevin De Bruyne, according to Transfermarkt, £68.4 million. Where do we rank Kevin De Bruyne on our categories?
Jake, where are you going?
Yeah, go on, Tom. Open us up.
I had him as what a buy.
Ooh.
And I suppose we'll classify or we'll say what a buy means in comparison to the rest is we're talking a top tier transformational signing,
Basically,
worth the money and more.
This top tier is basically it just couldn't have been any better. When they signed him, a lot of people thought it was overpriced. He wouldn't live up to the 60 million, but he's ended up becoming one of the best midfielders of my generation. I've never seen a midfielder like that you'd say is better than him in my time, and he's just the heart of this unbelievable Man City team, and they just couldn't have bought a better player. He's just signed a new long-term contract with them, and I think it's an unbelievable buy from them.
I think when you're looking at him in context of the prices of other players, plus the longevity and the output, I think he's one of the best signings that's ever been made. Probably. Yeah, I think he's absolutely worth every penny and more.
More than worth the money. Do you agree, Will?
Top player.
Good. Move on to number 24.
Top lad.
Yes, I can say about it. I think it's absolutely embarrassing for people to compare him to Bruno. I think it's disgusting. Bruno's in the same conversation. As much as I love Bruno, he's not on the same level at all.
Yeah, he's not.
No. No, well, and Bruno doesn't make this list, I believe, either.
No, he doesn't.
Cheap buy, Bruno.
No.
Okay, so
who does make this list? At number 24 is the mighty Zinedine Zidane, all the way back from 2001-2002 season.
Yeah.
At £69.75 million back in
that era.
Money. A lot of money back then.
I looked at other players that went in that window to see what he was in the context of other players that got transferred, and I believe that Ruud van Nistelrooy joined Man United in the same season for just £15 million.
Really?
Yeah. Even looking at someone like Buffon joined, he was a world record for a goalkeeper at the time for 50 million, so a lot less as well. There's quite a few players that cost a lot less than that at the time.
So where would you put him, Jake?
Yeah, Jake.
What he had 5 seasons at Madrid. He got a Champions League and a league title, and I think he scored about 35-40 goals in that time as well.
He had a better goal-to-game ratio than he did at Juventus, and a better assist-to-game ratio than Juventus as well.
Yeah, at Juventus, I think he played a bit deeper as well. He played in like a diamond with a few other players. But I mean, there's a lot of money. I think he goes in the good but overpriced bracket for the time that he was bought.
I'd have to disagree.
Go on.
It's a lot of money, but I'd put him in the worth the money section purely because he's seen as one of the best players of all time, a glorious player to have, and Madrid are a team. I think you've got to take into context how much money Madrid had. I looked at all of their transfers before and after Zidane, and it didn't really affect how much money they were able to spend in future windows. They had the money to spend on Zidane, and they ended up signing someone that was arguably better than he was at Juventus. My dad always said he's one of the best players ever seen. Madrid, who is incredible, won them that Champions League with that in iconic goal. And lovely. Even though it's a lot of money, to say that Zidane played for you and to do better than when he was at Juventus, I think it means it was worth the money, especially when Madrid had the money for it as well. That's my argument.
I'm with Tom on this. I think worth the money.
Have I convinced you, Jake, or do you still think good but overpriced?
No, I think if this was in 2009, then yeah, it's fine. But I just think for the time that he was bought, I still think it's too much money. But
fair enough.
There's no denying. There's no denying how good he was, but I don't think he was. I don't think he was overpriced. So
yeah. No, I do understand. It is a lot of money. But I just think, looking back, Madrid won't regret it. They won't regret the signing. So he's number 23.
I don't mind him being there either. It's Zidane, isn't it? So it's all good.
Yeah.
Tom is Kepa.
Yeah, there's no debate over Kepa here. I think for £72 million.
The worst transfer in the history of football. Worse than Andy Carroll to Liverpool. Worse than
Joel Linton.
Newcastle. He's worse than all of them. Genuinely, there's no debate.
He's shocking.
Massive flop.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said it on our transfers podcast. Maybe he needs to go away from the club for a little bit, but I just don't think it doesn't appear to be he'll ever get to that valuation at any point.
Away from football, he does.
Yeah. I mean, he's lost his place to like a £20 million goalkeeper and doesn't look anywhere near the squad. So, 72 million. Is it still? It's still a world record fee paid for a goalkeeper as well. So, yeah.
Massive stink.
Yep. That's what that case should be in his own category below massive flop. Should be massive stink. You're absolutely right. Yeah. He might not even make the board, mate.
Next. Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah, 72 million also, according to Transfermarkt anyway.
I think this will cause debate. Well, where do you two have him?
Go on, Jake.
Well, he's only been there for a season. Is it under 2 seasons? This is his second season, right? Or is this his third?
Season 9.
Second.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you're. How old is he as well? Is he mid-20s or sort of more towards early 20s as well? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money paid for him. I still think he's in the too early to tell bracket, really, because I don't think he's had a consistent run of games. He might, turn out to be incredible, but at the minute he's probably in the underachieved bracket. But I don't think he's been there long enough to say he's underachieved, really. He's underachieved for the season and a half he's been there, but I still think it's too early to tell.
Yeah, what do you think, Will?
I don't know, actually. I think too early to tell as well, because he hasn't been given a lot of long, consistent chances, like Jake said. But he has also underachieved for his standards.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's hardly done anything of note, really. I mean, you can't think of. I think maybe one game I can think of where he scored twice in it. I think from the right wing, but then he's been played out of position because Saka's come along as a 21-year-old and outplayed him a lot of the time.
No, I think he's not been good enough, but I still think he's underrated in the way that people hear Pepe and just instantly say flop, he's awful. When this Arsenal team is awful all round. They're going through a big transitional period where lots of different players are in and out of the team because the manager's really needing to make some tough decisions. And I don't think Pepe's been given a fair, consistent run in his preferred position. And he's played 79 games for Lille and he's now played 80 for Arsenal. So he's been at Arsenal longer than he was at Lille. Scored 20 less goals and 3 less assists. So he has underachieved, but he's only 25, and I still think it is too early to tell because he's showing glimpses of brilliance. He scored a good goal for them last week against Slavia Prague, which they thought was the winner. I think it's too early to have a go at him.
I think you make a good point with Arsenal being in the state they're in. He's not really a very consistent side or a side generally in position to compete,
But yeah. No, I mean, you could argue, but then Saka is a similar player, got put into the same position and was a lot better, but he's a youth player really wanting to make an impression. Pepe had a struggling first season trying to adapt to the new country as well. I think it's hard to compare his situation.
I mean, if Bukayo Saka had cost £72 million, though, where would you put him on this list?
Worth the money, I'd do, because he's only 18. He's carried Arsenal on his back for half the season.
He has been their best player.
I'd put Pepe into
I like him as well, but I think it's too early to tell. It's only been a season and a half.
He has underachieved, but I still think he can get to good but overpriced eventually. I never think he'll be worth the money.
No.
But I'm not going to say he's underachieved just yet.
Awesome.
It's mad, isn't it? Because they were linked with Thomas Lamar, weren't they, a couple of seasons before that for like 90 million. So they seem keen to spend, a chunk of money on a winger for some reason.
Yeah. Who's next?
All right, then we'll go to number 21, Lucas Hernandez at Bayern Munich, £72 million also. It's a similar fee again.
Was that much?
Been there for a season and a half, nearly 2 seasons, the same as Pepe.
Won the treble.
Won the treble. He hasn't played a lot for them, to be fair, at all.
I had him in good but overpriced. Because
I don't really know too much about him, to be fair.
Well, I know that he's played a lot for Bayern since he's joined them, but not as much as they would have thought. And even though obviously he's not lived up to the 72 million price tag. I mean that's that's the same as Van Dijk. It's a ridiculous amount of money, but it doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's been there long enough to be able to tell, so he's not in too early to tell. So he's a good player, but definitely overpriced for me.
I agree.
He played well against Neymar. He's played less than 2,000 minutes in 2 seasons because he's been injured as well, to be fair. He's not played a lot of football.
I mean, you could argue underachieved.
Yeah, I was going to say you could argue.
But
he was, I mean, he was supposed to go in there and be the replacement for someone like Boateng, a centre half, and now they're debating whether they shift him to left back because they just can't find a place for him at centre back at the minute.
It's a tough one. I mean, because he was very good, as Will says, against PSG in the tie.
Yeah.
And I think when he's been fit, he's not been bad for them. I think he's struggled with injuries, so.
I don't know. Do you have to put him in the context of someone like Van Dijk or someone like De Ligt because they went for the same money near enough, and what impact they've had?
Yeah.
Or are you saying that because he's younger, you're buying the potential as well? No,
because Maguire has not underachieved, but he's not worth 80 million. So it's the same with Hernandez. I don't think he's underachieved. He's been good for them, just not worth 70 million. That's the way I'd see it.
I just think, given that he's had less than a season's worth of games, I still think he's too early to tell. Given that he's only 24 as well.
It's one of them 3, isn't it?
No, I agree with that. Actually, he's only 24, and if he manages to stay fit for a while, then he could turn out to be a really good defender for them.
Stick him in the middle.
Absolutely.
So
I think he's still. Yeah, I think he's there.
Okay.
Who's next? Kai Havertz.
Tom's favourite footballer.
No.
72 million again on here, yeah. Same sort of price.
Jake's laughing because I used to just call him. Well, Will knows we call him Matic as if he was a cam. He's
Matic in number 10. He is just a lanky.
Yeah, he is. But recently,
Tuchel's got the best out of him.
Tuchel's getting the best out of him, playing him in his natural false 9, like number 10, almost striker position, and he's doing quite well for them. So I've got him in too early to tell.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, definitely too early to tell. I think it comes in that category. So the best example I always have is Luka Modric, when he joined Real Madrid, was voted the worst signing of this that they had at the time.
Yeah.
And then he's gone on to win. He won a Ballon d'Or playing for them. And
ridiculous.
Has many Champions Leagues and whatever. So again, like maybe it's just an adjustment season, and maybe he finds his place under Tuchel. But I can't say is anything other than too early to tell. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Luis Suarez,
£73.5 million to Barcelona from Liverpool.
For him, I believe.
Sorry?
Only one place for him, and it's what a buy.
Oh, absolutely, what a buy.
No.
What a buy. So many goals, so many assists, so many trophies. Come on.
Yeah. He's a twat, but...
Oh, yeah, I can't like him, but he's... Oh, come on.
He goes one higher,
He's got to go in the top category.
Why?
Come on.
Educate me.
Do I have to bring up his numbers?
Oh, sorry.
He's got a ridiculous goals to game ratio in that team, and he's part of probably the best front three we've ever seen in a team.
Why is he not in what I buy? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, why is he not? Tom, come on,
educate us.
Because what he did at Barcelona was the same as what he did for Liverpool, meaning he's done exactly what the money did. So the reason why he doesn't go into what I buy is because obviously his value massively dropped when they sold him. I mean, he went for free, didn't he, or something?
Yeah, he's 32 now, and he's 33, and he still scored a load of goals for Atletico Madrid. He's probably the best signing of the season for free.
How's that relevant? I never said he was a bad player.
Well, exactly, but you're making the point that he didn't go for any money, so that must mean he's tailed off.
No, that wasn't my point at all. My point is, they bought him from Liverpool, and the price they bought him for was what they valued his goal contribution at Liverpool for. And that goal contribution didn't improve at Barcelona. It stayed amazing. So he was worth every penny that they paid because he did exactly what he was doing at Liverpool. The reason why he then doesn't make the leap up into what to buy is because they didn't win as many Champions League as they thought they were going to, and that didn't help with Neymar leaving. And he just didn't really transform them like a Van Dijk did. That's why Van Dijk were going to what I buy, whereas Suarez he did what they asked of him, and he didn't really get them as many Champions Leagues as they wanted. And it's not down to him, obviously, but that's why I don't put him in that top bracket. And that's why I was saying, like, the reason why Neymar to Barcelona for me goes into what to buy is because they ended up getting an unbelievable player and then selling him for more than double. Whereas with Suarez, it ended up with him going for free. So he did what was asked for with the money, and that was it. I don't think he goes more than worth the money.
I suppose if I look at the top category as I put it before as transformational, then it's definitely not as large an impact as someone like De Bruyne had on Man City and still has now.
Yeah, it's not like he did more than people expected. His form from Liverpool continued as amazing. Like,
I suppose
that's my point. He's worth every penny in that regard.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I suppose again, there's probably only two more players that go into that top category in a minute anyway. So
don't really want that many people in the top category.
No, I'm cool with him. I'm cool with him in worth the money. I don't think he's overpriced at all either. So
no, definitely not.
Van Dijk next. Doesn't need explaining, does it? At the very top.
Well, what I'll buy.
Transform that defence.
Yeah, if it gets you a Premier League and a Champions League, basically off of his purchase, then it's not a bad sign at all.
Some people put this man into the all-time Premier League 11 after like 3 seasons, and you can't even argue with them. That's how good he's been.
Got a week? Probably not. Just incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
doesn't really need much explaining that one, does it?
Yeah, moving on.
Romelu Lukaku to Manchester United.
Yeah, from Everton, wasn't it, at the time?
Bouncy Castle himself.
Only played 2 seasons at United as well.
I had him in as underachieved.
I had as underachieved.
Yeah, I don't think he's a flop because he had a fairly good goal ratio while he was there, but he didn't win anything. But
he came to us to win trophies and he didn't do that.
No, and then he quickly left when it wasn't, going well for him. So, yeah. Whereas you look at him at Inter Milan, and he would probably go into the worth the money category at this point if they win the league, because he's scoring for fun and they're, top of the league.
I know you'd say this shows United wrong to sell him, but then you also realise 35-year-old Ashley Young starts for the same Inter Milan team. So
I wanted to leave anyway.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
We all agree he's underachieved.
Who's next?
Yeah.
Got the next two are the two Dutchmen. You got De Ligt and De Jong.
Yeah, so De Ligt at Juventus, £77 million for was he 19 at the time? I think.
Yeah.
Absolute beast of a player.
I had him as good but overpriced.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite worth the money.
Again,
it's
it's a
not
little
worth
bit
money
of
yet.
that.
Not
It's
yet,
a
anyway.
little bit of that. He hasn't had the time to justify it, I suppose. But then, what's he been there 2 years now? Yeah.
Plus, Juve are just shit in general, aren't they?
I know, and well,
I mean,
the thing is that when Ajax unluckily lost to Spurs in that semi-final, that entire Champions League tournament, I watched all of Ajax's games, and that's why I loved them so much. And De Ligt was just an absolute monster at the back. Like, he scored so many headers, scored goals in the big games to get them through those Champions League knockout games. Captain at the age of 19. And I just thought, this kid's 19 doing all of this, leading his team. He's an absolute monster. And any team that gets him are going to get their own, like Van Dijk. But he's gone to Juventus and ended up just being an all right centre back. Like, he's not better than Chiellini or anything. He's just doing all right. So he's a good centre back, but I don't know if he's worth the 70 million. But you could also argue it's too early to tell.
Still so young, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose what might determine it is if they sell him on for more money as well. In the end, that's what I always thought, that Juventus was going to be his stepping stone to somewhere else. In the end, I don't see him being there. Yeah, I don't see him being there till the end of his career or anything like that.
I mean, I think Barcelona had a massive shock in not getting him.
Him and De Jong to that team would have been incredible.
But they needed a centre back. I don't know why they didn't do it.
Maybe that's why though. Maybe it's let them have a punt for 70 million on him and see how he plays, and if he's up to it in European games and in Serie A, then someone can go and buy him. But
but
I think he's borderline in the too early to tell, but the overpriced region as well. Really,
I think good but overpriced.
Yeah,
I don't mind him going there at all. Yeah.
Okay.
And the next Dutchman, Frankie De Jong.
This is interesting for me because I had him quite low and then moved him up at the end.
You moved him?
Yeah. I ended up deciding him with worth the money because in a Barcelona side, that is just... It's just so wrong. Like, they've got so many players... Like, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to describe Barcelona over the last 4 or 5 years, but they've just...
And that sums them up, Tom. That sums them up completely at the minute. You don't know how to describe them.
But the one sensible decision they made was getting De Jong, who's a very young, very talented midfielder that has started for them. He started for them basically in every game since he's been bought, and he's so young, so there's a big future with them, and unless he decides to leave. So I think he's done exactly what they thought he would do. He's not been bad at all.
And they're probably going to get 10 years out of him. And I think for that fee, it is going to be worth it, yeah. No, I don't. He's looked absolutely quality, especially this season. I think last year, again, it was a bit of an adjustment, but he has looked really good this year.
He retains the ball so well. It's just incredible.
I love Dion.
That's what he was brought to be, wasn't it? He was supposed to be a Busquets replacement, but Busquets is still there.
Just kept Busquets. I don't get it. Get him gone.
Get him gone.
So, well, are you happy with him going in worth the money?
Yeah,
I think so. I'm all right with that. Even though he's so young, I think he is. He's quality. Yeah.
Next we have Slabhead.
Slabhead himself.
I think he has. We all know what he goes into.
Overpriced.
Yeah, good but overpriced. This is it. We said this. Well, I said this to Tom. Like, if he cost 40 million, he'd go in the worth the money category. Or 50, maybe even 50 million. But to be how much was he in the end? 80 million.
Yeah,
80.
Yeah.
Well, that's just
80 million.
English, and Leicester knew that we needed a centre half, so they just went.
Well, it's Man United. That's why it was, wasn't it? It's Man United buying a player. Yeah.
It's a shame. I'm glad we bought him. Like, it's not my money. I love Maguire. He's a very good centre back.
Oh yeah.
But you can't say he's worth 80 million.
No.
And that's the other thing, isn't it? Is that in the end, if you win things, transfer fees are largely irrelevant. But it just is the thing people are put up against. But yeah, if we put it, obviously the whole point is he worth 80 million? And no, but he's been solid, to be fair, for Man United when you needed someone solid.
Exactly. He's the captain already. So.
Well then,
captain of England, captain of Man United.
Well, I wish he was captain of England. Sadly, Harry Kane.
Sorry, no, he's not, is he? Harry Kane's captain. Of course he is. Yeah.
But then But then Harry Kane is not even captain of Spurs. It doesn't really add up to me.
Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it? Fucking Lloris. I don't know. Mourinho.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Lloris is. I don't know. But anyway, who's the next on the list?
Neymar to Barcelona.
Neymar to Barca. Yeah.
Neymar to Barca. I had him in as
about 80 million.
What a buy!
What a buy!
Yes, I see your reasons because they made like £100 million on him. Got one Champions League, a couple of league titles out of him, loads of goals. Yeah,
he's one of the. What a talent! So iconic, and the amount of money they will have got from shirt sales and everything. Like the buy was. I mean, what I can't believe is they spent like 80 million on him from Santos. How was a Brazilian club able to demand 80 million for him?
Well, that was the problem, wasn't it? It's that third-party ownership thing with his dad, wasn't it? That he went to court for and all sorts that went kind of wrong with that transfer.
I know nothing about it.
Something.
I think his dad ended up getting like £50 million from the transfer because he owned, like how Tevez came to West Ham and that sort of thing from before. Yeah, there was a lot of court stuff over it as well. But for 80 million, if you put him in the context of, no offense to Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bargain, absolute bargain for the output.
Yeah, great buy that was.
Gonzalo Higuain.
£81 million to Juventus.
I don't know.
He went from Napoli, right?
Yeah. The season, his last season at Napoli, he got 36 league goals in 35 games.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
So that's why they bought him for that much.
Yeah.
So he was. Oh, go on.
Yeah, you go on.
So he was Cavani's replacement, wasn't he, at Napoli? That's what he came in for. Yeah. He banged in goals for them. Loads of goals.
Yeah, he was brilliant at Napoli. And even though he didn't get 36 and 35 equivalent at Juventus, he still did score a lot of goals for them. But he wasn't worth the money. Like, he wasn't an outstanding goal scorer, and he didn't like win them Champions Leagues or anything. And that's what Juventus wanted.
He was all right.
And then he went to Chelsea and AC Milan on loan.
Yeah, it just wasn't great.
And then now is that David Beckham's team now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had him as good player but overpriced. He just wasn't worth 90 million.
Yeah, good player.
Oh, really? You got him in good player but overpriced?
Yeah, because he was good. He did score goals for them. It's just. I don't think it's fair to say underachieved because I don't know what they were expecting. They bought him and he was 29. It was more Juventus' fault than his fault. I think he did just as expected, like for an outside fan looking at it.
So his stat line for Juventus is 105 games played, 48 goals.
Yeah,
as a striker.
Yeah.
Where did you have him, Jake?
I had him in underachieved because he was so expensive, and then didn't establish himself really because he only played 16 games in his second season and got loaned out to Chelsea. For a 70-odd million pound player, I thought.
You know what? Yeah, I think Jake's right.
I didn't know that.
If he was 40 million pounds or 30 million pounds and had 2 good seasons, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's value for money. But he was a borderline record transfer signing.
If you look at Lewandowski, they would have thought he would have kept goal scoring form until like 33. He dropped off before then. I think he's 33 now actually, and he's into Miami. So as much as he did underachieve, it is Juventus' fault for spending that much. I don't know why they wanted to do that signing.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a flop. I don't think he's a flop at all.
No,
but I just think he should have done a lot more for them, more than 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah.
Who's
next?
Ronaldo to Madrid.
Cristiano Ronaldo, yes, to Madrid. World record fee at the time, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. there's no argument.
You don't need to even explain it.
Yeah.
What was it? Club's all-time record goal scorer.
More goals
however many Champions League.
More goals per game.
More goals in games. God, yeah. And they still got money back for him afterwards. They still sold him on for more money.
I know.
Mad. Absolute madness.
Hilarious.
Now into the final 10.
I love that. We could just gloss over Ronaldo. He is easily in that category. If anything, he might be in his own category above that. To be fair, unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's
Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale to Madrid.
I'd like to hear what you two say first for this.
Who have you got, Jake?
So, how many Champions Leagues did he win?
Four? 3 or 4.
And was it the Copa del Rey, that goal against Barcelona, a league title or 2 as well?
Yeah.
I think for the money they paid for him, I think he was worth it. I know he's tailed off now, but I still think he's in the worth the money category for the output he had during those 4, 5, 6 years. I thought he was great. Yeah. I loved him at Real Madrid.
It's quite similar to the Suarez situation to an extent.
Yes, yeah.
So do you agree, Will?
Yeah, well, he's worth the money.
I mean, he's got 171 games and he's got 123 goal contributions in that time, plus how many trophies he won. I think,
I want to go one further and say he's what a buy.
You reckon? I thought you were going to be down on Gareth Bale for some reason, but fair enough.
I don't care about their stupid, spoiled fans and his awful treatment.
Neither do I.
The fact I don't think people realise he was so crucial in winning so many of those trophies and winning 3 Champions Leagues in a row. I don't think will ever be done again. And a lot of that was purely because of Bale's goals in the finals and everything.
Against Liverpool, I mean, maybe the best goal I've seen in a Champions League final.
It's header versus Atletico Madrid to put them ahead in extra time.
The
Copa del Rey goal, that you can't. The way I see it is, you can't put a price on records like that. And no matter what people think of him, if you would have said to Madrid, would you want to pay? How much money would you pay to get 3 Champions Leagues in a row and things like that? They'd pay a lot more than 90 million.
Absolutely.
That's why I wanted to put him in what I buy. I don't know if you agree.
And I think
I can put him there.
The difference between him and Suarez was that Suarez didn't win the Champions League like he did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Suarez was better at Barcelona than Bale was at Madrid, but he just kept scoring crucial goals that won them these trophies and breaking unbelievable records. That is just, you've got to say it's a great buy. Not as good as it gets, really.
Oh, I'm very happy to put him there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Next, we have Paul Pogba.
Oh. I had him as worth the money.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not overpriced.
Well, there you go, Will.
For the talent he has.
But were you thinking?
No. Can I say something? I don't think he's overpriced, and I think he's a wonderful footballer. Always liked Paul Pogba, definitely. And I think again, he's been in some Man United teams where you were transitioning and you had various managers, and I don't think he's been able to play in a way he's wanted to. So I think he's underachieved, but not in the same sense that Lukaku and Higuain have. Because I think right, no. Do you know what I mean?
You are right. You are right.
Well, his fault that.
Yeah. Pogba has underachieved, but in the context of the way we're doing this, I refuse to put him surrounded by these clowns.
Yes, this is what I mean. He doesn't go below or with them, but he's not in the. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to categorize him.
Yeah.
We paid 90 million for him. And the amount we've got back from that, from shirt sales and everything, and the fact that he's one of my favourite players, he's just, what a beautiful player. He underachieved, but I think he was definitely worth that money. I mean, I would have paid the money if I could go back and do it again. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I think he's almost in the category of, like, wasted by the team. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's
almost where he falls.
His fault that he's played with Phil Jones and Chris Smalling behind him.
It is a shame, really.
I don't mind. Either of them two for him.
I love Paul, so I'm just going to shove him there. You can't.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Me.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Right, got 8 left and only got 15 minutes, so I've got to play golf.
Right, do it.
Eden Hazard to Madrid. Massive flop.
Yeah, random, isn't it? Just injured all the time.
Yeah, big fatty. Yeah. Big fatty. He. I refuse to put him in too early to tell because I just don't see it getting any better from here.
He's already old as well, isn't he? He's like 30 odd.
Did you think that when he left Chelsea, you were thinking he's probably been in his prime already at the point that he left? Do you know what I mean? Like you get the best seasons out of him at Chelsea and sell him on.
Yeah.
But the season that he left Chelsea, he was Player of the Year, wasn't he? In Premier League, he was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, he just hasn't carried it on, bless him. And he's been injured a lot as well. Injuries are the issue, I think. Injuries.
Massive flop.
He actually is a massive. For the money as well. We can't ignore that.
Even if it was for 20 mil, it's a massive flop.
Yeah.
So the second time he's appeared, we got Ronaldo for 100+ million to Juventus.
Yeah. This is a weird one. This is.
I had him as good but overpriced.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because he was still top goal scorer, has banged in nearly 100 goals for them already in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Him himself.
They just haven't won a Champions League. That's what they wanted, wasn't it?
Well, that's why they bought him. So
it's just you, baby, and Spax. To be honest with
you. But do you think at his age he was overpriced? But then it's him. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, you can argue because the amount of money Juventus will have got because of that buy, like that probably pays for the transfer itself. So you could say worth the money, but
you can argue for and against it, can't you? Really?
I mean, you could say worth the money, and then the reason why he's not what to buy is because he didn't win in the Champions Leagues. Ronaldo, I know we're living in the now, so it's hard to see it like this, but even in 100 years, we'll look back at Ronaldo in the same way we look at Pele now, and Juventus are able to say we had Ronaldo in our team. So you could argue for that reason it was worth the money because he didn't let them down. He's got like a goal a game for them, and the reason why it's not the top category is because he didn't get them the Champions League.
Yeah, I see that.
So
you can't ask for much more than him than what he's done. Do you know what I mean? Like you brought him to score goals, and it's just everybody else around him hasn't stepped up.
Yes, even though it's a lot of money, I think it was worth it.
Oh yeah, and I think Fiat also fronted a lot of the fee anyway, so it didn't cost Juventus that much as it was.
Yeah.
3 of the next 4 are all Barcelona players.
This was crazy from them.
This is the big mess of. This is why Barcelona are in £700 million worth of debt. This is why they're in debt.
I know.
The first one is Antoine Griezmann.
The weirdest transfer ever, I think.
I had
an odd buy.
Massive flop.
Did you?
Yeah.
120 million euros, and he's just been.
Jake, that is so much money. That is so much money for a player that his value has massively dropped and is nowhere near as good as he was at Atletico.
At best, he's been average.
So bad for them.
God, he's only been there 2 years. I thought he was there much longer than that. He's only been there for 2 seasons. That's crazy.
I don't see him improving. He's so overrated. Even at the time, it was an unbelievable. But at the time, I would have predicted he would have been good but overpriced. I never thought he would have been worth 120 million, but he's just been crap. That is so much money down the drain.
He's played 63 games and he's got 17 goals for Barcelona. And
yeah, stick him in flop. He's been a flop.
Yeah. Well, what did you think, Jake?
Where's he going to go?
I was looking at I was looking at the bottom 2 categories just to say. It's such a shame. I really like Griezmann. I just don't know why he went there. It's so I don't know, but
there we go.
I suppose he can go in the flop. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'm cool with that.
João Felix.
I had him as too early to tell.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one. There's so much money,
weird, right? Do you know why it's weird? It's 'cause if they bought him for £80 million, at least they could sell him on for more money if he turns out to be good. At 120 million, where do you sell him for more money?
Yeah, it's
wasn't
a
it his
lot of
buyout
money.
clause or something? It was his buyout
You know
clause,
what I mean?
wasn't it?
What's his buyout?
I think it was that.
Oh, right. Oh, I see.
I think it's something like that. It was. Yeah.
Why would they spend 100? No, oh, he's. I don't
weird.
think he'll never be worth the money. I don't think. But it is too early to tell. Like he could just suddenly just blossom in the next couple of years and just.
Yeah, it's the talent. But...
Yeah, he's been much better this season than last year, but yeah, he's still too early. What is he? 21? Like yeah.
To be fair to him as well, I don't think the Simeone style of play helps him.
Yeah, it's just a weird signing. I don't really get it.
Can you imagine him at Manchester City? If he'd have gone to City, he'd be perfect, probably for them.
He was brought in as the Griezmann replacement, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He just hasn't lived up to it.
Yeah.
So Next we have another Barca player, Dembele.
120 million for Ousmane Dembele. He is a flop. Massive flop.
No.
Big old flop. Floppy Dembele.
Underachieved, sure.
Underachieved.
What? For the fee they paid for him, he has not done anything.
Yeah, he's done bits for them. He's just underachieved. He's been better than bloody Griezmann.
I think he's underachieved.
He has been injured for most of his time at Barcelona.
Exactly.
He's been at Barca for... There you go. He's only played 10 more games than Griezmann and he scored the same amount of goals.
Yeah, and he's a winger.
Yeah, Griezmann's borderline a winger.
No, he's not.
He's not a centre forward.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He plays out wide most of the time.
No, I'm not having that.
I'm not having it either. He's not a striker. He's not an all-out goal-scoring striker. He's a creative player.
I don't care where he goes out of the bottom two.
I think Dembele's a flop, man. For how much they paid for him, he's a flop.
Dembele's goal-to-game ratio is better at Barcelona than it was at Dortmund.
Yeah, he played 1 year at Dortmund, and then they paid 120 million for him.
Yeah, it's Barcelona's fault, not his.
Well, exactly. But that's the point, is that if he was like a £40 million player, he's probably been all right. But he's a £120 million footballer, and he's done nothing
he's
really.
Not flop. No, I don't think he has done nothing. He's been very good for them this season. He's helped push this title charge. He's been scoring basically every game the last 5 to 10 games in the league for them.
This season he's got 5 goals.
Yeah, and that's literally come in the last month.
Well, if we're basing it off of a month's form, maybe he's worth the money.
We're not basing it off a month. It's because of injuries.
Griezmann's got 14 goal contributions this season. Dembele's got 7.
Yeah, Griezmann's starting to become good, but he's 30, not like 24. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's not the point. It's what they've done, isn't it?
No, you got to include age and everything. That's why Felix is there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I know he's been injured. He might even still be in the too early to tell because he's only played 60 games in 4 years.
So why did the silent vote?
Yes,
yeah, go
on. I thought what Jake said. He's a massive flop.
Yes, Will.
What made you change your mind?
This season, he's only got 7 goal contributions.
I don't think that's correct.
I thought this season he kicked on, but apparently he hasn't. That's
why I didn't. 5 goals and 2 assists.
If that's kicking on, then he's definitely a flop.
No, it will. As I said, he's been injured most of the season. So he's basically been
120 million. He's only played 60 games in 4 years. That's not good enough.
Yeah, that's £2 million a game.
That's 2v1, Tom.
It's 7 goal contributions in the league. It's 14 overall.
Oh.
Yeah. You were on about this La Liga push, so I was going by La Liga stats.
In Champions League, he's got 3 goals, 2 assists in 6 games.
Yeah, but they're out of that, aren't they?
Yeah, not his fault.
I don't really care where he goes out of them two.
He's in the bottom 2 category somewhere.
Yeah, he hasn't lived up to the hype end of the day.
He's underachieved. End of.
But then again, I don't understand why they paid that much for him. I don't think he was that hyped anyway for 120 million.
And speaking about paying that much for someone, Philip Coutinho.
Yeah, Philip Coutinho.
Yeah, stick him there, Tom.
Yeah. If you're going to loan out your record signing to Bayern Munich for 2 years, he's not worth it, is he?
And then he scores against you in the Champions League.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. he's just not very good, is he?
To be fair, when they bought him from Liverpool, you're thinking he might be an £80 million footballer when he left, and then it just didn't fit. You know?
Yeah.
Because again, I think people forget how good he was for Liverpool. He was outstanding, but
he was.
Yeah, it just hasn't been worth
not
it.
135 million euros.
No, definitely not.
Not that much. Leaning on to the two PSG players then.
Yeah.
Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah, ridiculous money spent on these two.
It really has been. I mean, Neymar gets a hotel at every game pretty much.
Tom, do you think that these two actually depend on this season? If they go and win the Champions League, was it all worth it?
I don't care if they're in the Champions League or not. Neymar will never be in either of these sections. £200 million for one player plus his wages is absolutely mental. I don't care who you are.
He's very good, but he's massively overpriced. So
he's a very good player, but it was massively overpriced. I don't care what happens with PSG.
Do you think in the context, right? If he's £200 million and he wins you 5 League titles, right? Compared to if a Premier League team bought him and he won you 5 Premier Leagues, the value of those Premier Leagues is higher, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Massively. They could win League without him.
They would have won. They'd win 5 League titles if they gave every other team in the league 200 million to spend. I'm not. There's no chance. One Champions League or 2 Champions Leagues is not worth 200 million plus the wages. This package probably has been like 400 million,
if not more.
Probably more than that, mate. He's in the good but overpriced bracket then.
Yeah.
He's an incredible footballer, but he's massively overpriced.
Better than Ronaldinho. I'll hear no different, Jake.
No, absolutely not. No,
don't get started.
No way.
Much better. Far superior footballer. Anyway, we'll move on to Mbappe.
The Ninja Turtle.
I had him as worth the money. I don't know about you two.
145 million euros, which is only 10 mil more than Philip Coutinho, which is actually mental.
He's 120 mil for a player that they're not going to lose money on.
Oh yeah, he's definitely worth the money.
Definitely.
Do you think anyone will ever buy him?
Yeah.
Or do you reckon who will buy him then?
Real Madrid is absolutely obsessed with him. I heard news that the reason why Madrid didn't spend a penny in the last transfer window is because they're saving up for Mbappe. I don't think that's going to be this summer, but because of COVID,
eventually it will happen.
Madrid are obsessed by. If COVID never happened, I'd put £1,000 on him going this summer. But
so is he in the worth the money category yet, or do they need to win this Champions League and then he's worth the money?
He's definitely. I think he's definitely worth the money. He's not overpriced because his goal. People are saying he's like the next Messi and Ronaldo. People say he's better than Haaland. His goal contributions have improved from when he was at Monaco. He's definitely lived up to the expectation. He's only like 21, 22. Everyone thinks he's going to win Ballon d'Ors. And they won't lose money on him if they sell him. And if they don't sell him, it's because they think he's worth the money. They don't need the money for him. So he's not overpriced at all, surely.
No, worth the money.
I suppose so. I suppose if they actually manage to sell him to someone at some point, he will be worth the money.
Yeah. But as I said, if they don't sell him, it's because they think he is worth the money.
Yeah. If they don't sell him again, it's such a waste of a footballer's career. He needs to go somewhere else. I just can't. I am so gutted that they're playing Man City in a semi-final. It's just 2 oil giants against each other. It's terrible for football. I can't stand it.
Yeah, a good game.
So my one hope was Dortmund, and they're out. So that's it.
Are you looking at this? Are there any that you think's out of place?
I'm surprised it's so balanced. I thought one category might fill up, but actually it's fairly balanced.
Yeah, no.
And I also need to go, so nice.
Yeah, farewell. Yeah. I'll stay on the call, Jake.
Yeah, right,
no worries. Well, enjoy your golf, mate.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Are we still recording, Jake?
Yes, mate, we are. We're still recording. If you want to go over any more, I think I'm quite happy with where people are.
I'm very pleased. Looking at it, there's not really any odd change.
No, there's some of those I'm so gutted about. Like, I really like Griezmann, but it's just nothing's happened for him at all.
I liked Griezmann. I think Griezmann was my favourite player in Europe at the 2016 Euros. But then he decided to get weird hair and start doing take the L dances in the World Cup, and I just thought, what a massive weirdo.
I think the thing I don't think as well people appreciate is when he played for Atletico Madrid, he played as at times like a sort of defensive winger a lot of the time. Like when they played in that 4-4-2 and they sat in and counted teams, he then went from a team that doesn't have a lot of the ball to Barcelona, and changing your play style to that is just completely different.
Yeah,
and then you got to compete with Messi, and you got to compete with Suarez, and all the other players they've got. Again, he was linked with Man United at one point, and I was like, that'd been cool, but
not just linked. I don't know if you realise how close it was. It actually was going to happen. We were going to buy him. The reason why it fell through is because suddenly Atletico Madrid received a transfer ban, and because Griezmann was so loyal to them, he said, right, well, I'm not going to leave now. If you sell me, you can't replace me, and so he ended up staying. When it was basically, we all thought we had him. He was basically holding up the shirt.
Yeah. Again, I think it just would have been a bit more exciting him coming here than I thought. It almost felt like such a sideways move to go to Barcelona. Do you know what I mean?
No, it was strange.
It wasn't much of a change up, and I just don't think he's ever suited that team. I think he's a completely different player to what they like. Really.
I don't know who was in charge of the three signings of him, Dembele, and Coutinho. So weird.
I mean, for a combined £330 million, and none of them really have done anything. It's madness, isn't it? It's crazy.
It is mind blowing, and that's why I don't really have any sympathy for their downfall. Although they're still challenging for the titles.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if you saw. There was a Tifo video out about why they're in that amount of debt. I think it's like 730 million euros or something.
Oh, really? No, I need to.
Yeah. And again, a lot of it is transfer fees that they still owe.
Yeah, no, it would be.
I think they're still paying off Coutinho to Liverpool. It was like a 5 or 6 year payment plan, so they're still paying him off now.
Really?
Yeah. Just with that money, they could have done so much more. Like again, I like the De Jong signing. That's sensible, as a signing.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to bring in some more defenders or anything like that, but who the hell is it? Mingueza, who's been playing, and a couple other young players as well. They just sort of. And then obviously Ansu Fati's come through, and a few other players, young players. So maybe they can replace them.
It is interesting. I know. Cause I was looking at their lineup the other day, and half their team I didn't even recognise. They've got so many youth players just being shoved into it, like this Mingueza. And everyone like that, I don't know who they are. So it's quite an interesting period for Barca. PK being dropped.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite feel like the same caliber of young players that came in the first time round, does it? It almost feels like it's being forced because they don't have any other options currently.
Yeah. It's But
yeah, they're in that difficult window where they're trying to replace PK, Busquets, and Messi potentially. And what do you do with that generation?
Exactly.
Like Man United, like Man United with 08-09. Like you've spent ages trying to replace those players.
Well, if we started Fergie, then we would have done it because Fergie didn't want to retire when he did, and I think it was Evra came out and said it was 99% done that we were going to sign Bale and bring Ronaldo back in the same window from Madrid in 2014, and it was so close to happening. But then Fergie's wife just basically said, you've got to retire, and even though he didn't want to, he did all of a sudden, and it was a massive shock to everyone, and so we didn't get the players and we got Fellaini instead. So it's just, and that's the story. But yeah, so I think Barcelona are going through a similar time to what we did. I think we're coming out of it now, though. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's odd. Like even with Real Madrid's recruitment, we looked last night. I was listening to the game, and a commentator said something about like, "Oh, this is like a second string Real Madrid back four without Varane and Ramos."
Yeah.
But they had like Ferland Mendy, who cost them 40 million quid. Militao cost them 50 million quid. Odriozola cost them 30 million quid. Like they spent money, but again, they're all players that haven't done a lot.
Or Militao, he's done nothing.
Yeah, from Porto. Yeah, again, he played last night, and he just looks mediocre last night. Yeah.
He's just ended up being a decent squad player at best.
Luka Jovic as well. They sent him back to Frankfurt after that by odd money bid. Eden Hazard.
I know. I mean, Vinicius, I thought was just a massive flop because they spent so much money on like a 17-year-old. But what I've liked about that is, even though he's not been amazing for them, that they've persisted with him and just constantly played him. And now he's a first teamer doing very well. And he's only 20, and he's been around for ages. He's only 20 years old.
They almost changed their policy to buying whoever was at the top of the game to who's going to be there potentially. They bought a lot of young players in one window. I think the summer they signed Hazard, they spent like 300 million euros on 7 or 8 players.
It was mental.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like that's the tier list done.
Yeah, 25 signings and quite a few flops in there. It looks like.
No.
Okay.
I was happy with that though.
Yeah, I think the one I actually the one I think will end up probably being a flop is Nicolas Pepe. Not to be down on him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's funny.
You don't watch him and think, oh, that's a £75 million winger.
Yeah, I know. I feel sorry for Arsenal in a way because they're in such a huge transitional period, and to go out and splash so much of their wage. But so much of their transfer budget on one player and then for them to not be good is quite depressing. And Aubameyang as well. They've given him like a 350k a week contract, and it looks like it's turning out into that Ozil situation again. It's a big problem for them.
Again, I don't know what you expect from a player that's now the other side of 30 and relies on his speed. Like, what's going to happen? He's going to decrease in speed, isn't he? You know?
It's really. I don't know who's in charge of their business decisions. It's quite funny. Though.
And Willian as well. I mean, 200 odd grand a week for a 32-year-old, 33-year-old. Yeah.
Free transfer, but still overpaid. You could argue. I mean, the wages and everything, ridiculous. Yeah. Not worth.
Yeah, and I like Willian, but I wouldn't pay him 200 grand a week plus whatever he's on. You know?
Yeah, I know. I think that Arteta will get a hold of that squad though. I feel like he knows. He's like Ollie. He knows what the team needs.
I don't know. I don't know if I've said to you before, but I'm not the biggest Arteta fan. I don't believe in Arteta.
It's a difficult one because you look at him and think, surely you should be doing better than 10th, but the team is so bad. It's just such a rotten, weak club.
Yeah, it's not a great squad at all. No.
And I just like the fact that he doesn't take the nonsense. He's not afraid to drop Willian for the young players. He knows what his team needs, like Ollie. And I think even if he leaves, he'll leave the squad in a good position for the next manager at the very least.
It's an odd club, Arsenal, because it should be one of the bigger clubs in the country, but they seem to be tailing off ever so slowly.
Getting worse.
And as Leicester keep getting better, they keep getting worse.
I know. It's weird because Arsenal look like they're going to finish 9th or 10th at best, but they could win Europa League and get back into the Champions League.
Mental, isn't it? Yeah, that would be crazy if they do that.
Yeah, I know. I'd love it. I'd love to see Arsenal back in the Champions League. But it'd also be hilarious if Prague knocked them out tonight.
Or if you keep them out at some point as well, because obviously you keep winning, you'll probably play them.
I'm certain, but we'll win the Europa League. Certain of it.
You reckon?
Yeah. We're just the best squad remaining, so you can't not back your team.
No, I mean if you come up against Arsenal, I don't see Arsenal beating you. So,
well, I know you say that, but we're a lot better than Arsenal. But since Arteta's been in charge, we've not scored against them.
But that's a stat. Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I remember the 0-0 in like to around Christmas time. It was horrendous that game. It's so boring.
It's really poor. We're always crap against Arsenal.
Oh, maybe Arteta's your kryptonite then.
Yeah, it's a problem. So I am worried if we did get them in the final.
I don't know. Did they do the pathway thing or not in that Champions League?
Yeah. So the semi-final, we're going to get Roma or Ajax.
And, right, I see.
Roma won the first leg 2-1 with 2 away goals, which was a surprise for me. So it looks like we're probably going to get Roma.
Right.
And then Arsenal are going to get the winner of Villarreal and Zagreb, and Villarreal are winning 1-0. So I think it's going to be them. Right. Which is funny because Villarreal is managed by Emery.
Is it?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. That'd be very funny.
If he knocked out Arsenal, I'd piss myself.
Get one back on them. That's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
God, do you think he still says good evening whenever he comes in?
I see. Good evening. I know. He's doing very well with them in the league.
Yeah, they're like sixth, aren't they? Sixth or fifth,
as good as you'd expect for Villarreal.
But they had a weird thing, didn't they, where the guy owning Valencia started selling off most of their key players. So Villarreal bought Danny Parejo and Coquelin, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So their starting midfielders moved over, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, that's never really clicked for me.
Yeah. Valencia sold loads of players. It's bizarre. They were like stripping their team of decent players.
Valencia used to have like such a cool team. I remember when I think it's the season before Gary Neville managed them. They were flying in the league. They finished like third or something, and they had Mustafi and Otamendi as their centre back pairing. And it's funny because we laugh now because we know they're just shit. But at the time, they were seen as like the best centre back pairing in Europe.
It's even before that when they had David Villa and David Silva in the same team.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They had a great team back then.
I know. I used to like Valencia, but they've tailed off a bit.
Yeah, I love their ground as well, but they're supposed to be moving from it. But,
oh really?
The Mestalla. Yeah, supposed to be getting rid of it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was their ground.
Yeah. Cool. Good rankings, everyone. Sam and Will had to go.
Yeah, I know, but we did it just in time.
See if we can get that tier list thing fixed. What a ridiculous website!
No, it's crap. I don't think it will be fixed. I thought I did something that'll fix it, but it just didn't work. The pictures didn't come up again.
No, I'll have to have a little play around with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice one. Cheers, that mate. Lovely.
It's all right. You're welcome.
Have a good rest of your week. Cheers.
Yeah, you too, mate. See you later.
See you later.